Thank you, Ramesh, first of all, for joining and coming on this. I know it's pretty late in the evening for you over there, but I appreciate you taking your time. So I'll just jump into the first question for you, Ramesh. Can you discuss the role of branding and positioning in marketing multifamily properties to potential investors? How can a strong brand identity contribute to capital inflows and raises?
Mhm. Sanjay, I think I would definitely love to answer this question. This is a repetitive questions all the time. You could be in any business, not a syndication. You could be any other business of a construction. You could be a HVAC, contractor, or you could be doing any online business. Brand is a most crucial thing. So if we be very specific with syndication or a capital raising business, obviously, strong brand identity is equal to the investor's confidence. Sanjay, it's very simplified. How strong brand you are having, that much a brand value you are getting. Differentiation. If you have a strong brand, you can easily differentiate in the crowded market. So that's how important it is to have your brand as a differently positioned. So standing out from all of your competition, it definitely create a investor trust. A well-defined brand communicate professionalism, stability, commitment to the quality, and this and ultimately forced in terms of trust to a potential investors, making them more likely to consider your option, your property to invest along with you, Sanjay. So that is again a bigger factor for a investor trust. Clear value proposition, branding clarifies the value your property offers to investors. Is it a luxury experience? Is it affordable? Is it a desirable location? Is it a family friendly amenities? All those kind of a thing, they are strongly highlight your brand effectiveness, Sanjay. Apart from that, if you really build out a strong brand, Sanjay, it help out for a referral. People keep talking about your brand, word of mouth. You turn out a huge brand. Ultimately, if you start giving that kind of a value and attracting institutional investors, Sanjay. So branding, it's something you really need to pay a huge attention. Anyone out there, who is just going and looking out, hey, I want to raise capital. Let me just send an email and people will invest. No, it's not. It's not a long-term ball game. It is just a ball game for particularly one deal. And even that one deal, I don't know how many investors can come and talk with you to invest. Because if you don't have a brand, why would somebody would invest, trust you? It's very simplified, Sanjay. So brand play a very, very vital role in terms of credibility, trust building, and ultimately, if you build out a brand over a period of time, it start paying you off. You doesn't need to talk much. Your brand will talk about you over a period of a time, Sanjay. So I think, yeah.
No, you
So
you
that
said you hit it you hit the hammer right on the head. The reason I say this is because if you really look at it, right? Let's take Xerox as a brand image, right? How many of them actually says photocopiers, right, or photocopies? Many of them will say, "Hey, get a Xerox copy of this," right? It's as simple as that. It's the so it it's the brand that they have created. It's a photocopier, but everybody knows it as Xerox, right? So that is the power of branding. When you look at it, look at Apple, right? So it has created trust. It has come with innovation. It comes with all of these things. And yes, creating a brand takes time. It's not something that happens overnight. But yes, the power of branding is just something that's fabulous what it can do. So you are absolutely correct about that, Ramesh. I agree with
Yeah,
you.
I think, the kind of example you shared across right now, Sanjay, obviously it is out of the syndication space, but that resonate with the audience. That is the main factor. What, these people who are today with us or outside of the market even, they really need to understand why branding or brand building is much more important in current capital raising business and as well as in a different business altogether. How branding can pay off them over a period of a time. So why they should really focus on that. So these are the key factor Sanjay, yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah, no, basically, as I mentioned to you, right, I use the Xerox as an example. It's because it applies to everything, whether it is, as you said, whether it is a plumber or an HVAC guy or syndication, all of those. But remember, it's what does branding really do, right? Branding actually creates what is called as the trust factor. And trust is something that is, takes time and it is earned. It is just like,
Yeah.
earning respect, right? So this is something that takes time, and it's a continuous effort that goes into it. I've seen a lot of people who don't understand that syndication as a business is not a get rich quick scheme, right? It is
Agree.
something where you have to first have certain things. Like, first of all, you have to have a great opportunity. Now, you might have a great opportunity, but if somebody doesn't know you, they're not going to invest in you. Your friends and families, it's only for a short, like, one deal, unless you are a billionaire, and you have billionaire friends, then it's a different story. But if you're not, and you're someone who's just getting started like me, who's an immigrant who has come from a different country, making, had a W-2 all along, coming into this business now and trying to create something new from ground up, that takes a lot of effort. And to shorten that effort, branding is the key. And having a good marketing company such as yours, Ramesh, it's very critical to syndicators and people in our business.
Lovely, lovely. What a great story, Sanjay, you have, came from India, settled it up, and you understand the importance probably. That's the key, being understanding the importance of each and everything. That's actually put you differentiated, or successful people towards making those business work out,
Yeah.
Great thing. Absolutely. That bring definitely a question from my side to you, Sanjay. Like, I always think of like, probably there are a lot of challenges, when you run across any business, you face it. But I don't want you to bring in all. Why don't you share with us the three biggest challenges you have faced in this syndication business, Sanjay?
I,
We would really love to know about it. And I think this all of our audience as well love to understand the kind of biggest challenges.
I think the biggest challenges are first, right, when you get started. I always keep talking about is you have to first have a good deal, right? So if you want to have a good deal, you need to have a good broker relationship. Now, if a broker is going to give you a deal, so call it as a pocket listing or any kind of a deal, he first needs to understand that you are worthy of his time and you will be able to close on this deal. So what is the first thing that you have to create again over there is a brand, right? It's like basically you're creating a brand. So first he has to look at you. He say, this guy, I went to his website. I met him for the first time, but I look at his website because that's the first place they go to, right? So that is one of the things that they'll do, and they'll be like, this guy looks credible, right? At least I see that he's pretty. If not anything, he has a decent website. He's starting off with he has a lot of these newsletters that's coming in, because at the end of the day you're funneling it all in and you're creating that, that image. So that is the first thing. So, well, that is the biggest challenge as of this, when you get started off with, right? So that is there obviously right
Okay.
now because of the
Can
market
I,
conditions.
yeah. So can I
Uh,
say the brand building was the biggest challenge for you, Sanjay? That is what you're saying?
Yeah, when you're
At
getting started, nobody knows you. That's number one, right? When
uh-huh.
you're getting started, you're just getting started with this, so nobody knows you. You haven't closed on any deal, so you are banking on some of your partners that, and you're piggy riding on them. But at the same time, when you're first talking, what
Mhm.
is the first thing that a broker is going to do? The broker is going to first go and check out your website because he wants to
Yep.
see who you are, right?
Yep.
And obviously your business card or your anything, but you're not going to go there in person. First thing you're going to do is you're going to be calling this guy, and the next thing is you're going to send him an email. Now, obviously, your email, if it goes in as bluringinvestor@gmail.com versus sanjay@bluringinvestors.com, makes a huge difference, right?
Absolutely.
It has your
Ab-
signature in it. That's your first image you're creating. And then the next thing he's going to do is, okay, let me check this bugger out, right? So he's going to click on that link and boom, it goes to your website. So now he looks at your website. How professionally have you done the website? That plays a key role. So that is the first step, right? So that's your first challenge that I started when I came up with this. The second thing was, okay, now that broker sent you a deal, you started underwriting multiple deals, you built that relationships part of it. That's a good thing. But the next thing is, okay, you sent out the LOI, and guess what happens? The LOI get accepted. Now you got to close on that deal. Okay,
Okay.
what to do when you're going
Uh,
to close on the deal? You need money. You're going to go ask people money. But your capital raising doesn't start after you close, when you get an LOI. Your capital raise starts from day one. The day you start the company is when your capital raise should start. And how do you do that? You start that by branding, by advertising, by marketing. So it's a day one process. You start off because nobody is going to say, hey, I got a great deal, put money in this. They'll be like, who are you? Right? So you
Very good.
prep that. You got to warm them up ahead of time. And how does that happen? Marketing. So that's the key. Now, why has Blue Ring Investor been able to close on so many deals in such a short time? I'm not trying to say that, okay, we are a great company and anything like that, because it's only $85 million. Now, if it were to be like $1 billion company, then I would be like bragging about it. But hey, I'll have only $85 million of assets under management right now. But hey, in from 2021 all the way to now, getting up to $85 million, I think it's not a bad deal. It's a
Yeah.
decent deal, right? To do that. And how did
Yeah,
we do
it's a
that?
great milestone. It's a great milestone. Yeah.
It's a pretty
Yeah.
good, it's a milestone. It's a pretty good one. So and of course, as we continue, we'll definitely get to that $1 billion number. But until then, it's a process. And how was I able to close on these? Absolutely marketing. It's all marketing and branding. People know
Oh,
you, right? When people say that, oh, I've heard about you, that
mhm.
goes a long way.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So that is the second challenge. What is the third challenge probably you have faced in
The
uh,
third challenge is once you take their money, you got to make sure that you're communicating with them on an effective manner, right? Because that's the key. If you don't have a process in place, if you don't have a good team in place that takes care of your newsletters, make sure that the portals are updated, all of those things are happening. Guess what's going to happen? People are going to say, "Hey, man, this guy just comes to me when he needs money. Whenever he's got a project. After that, he just forgets about us. That's not how it should be." Right? Um, I always believe that these are the main components. First of all, is making sure that you have the right kind of brokers. Second, you have the right kind of investors, and then it's your job to make sure that you are managing the property properly and communicating effectively to your investors. Because the key you have to remember, in syndication, not everything is going to go exactly as you had put in your business plan. And
true.
people notice it. So if you don't communicate effectively, they will not like it. They will not invest with you the next time. So having these three main things, these are your main, I would say, foundation. So everything
Pillars.
starts with marketing. Everything starts with advertising, creating the brand image, create advertising properly, and creating a structure in place.
So I think third point would be the communication is the key. How strong communication pillar you put forward and in your organization when you are building out a business with a like your investor. Probably what I feel sometimes, Sanjay. Every person who is setting out a business, he has to really get into the shoes of the his customer. So for you, investor is your customer. At the another end, syndication business have too many people as a customer. The tenant is a customer, their investor is their customer basically. So they really need to see if investor is investing along with him, what
Yeah.
they feel about it. If you are the investor, I took your money and I'm not communicating, then again, after a deal, hey Sanjay, I want to invest, I have a great deal, then you will definitely, the feeling which you have experienced over here is gonna be the same one.
Yeah. Now,
Great.
which brings me to a very good question, because you and your team have articulated these things very well, which is why I would like to ask you, like, okay, what role do storytelling and narrative building play in marketing multifamily funds deals to promote, for potential investors? Because you guys do a fantastic job about that. Whenever I come to you guys with It's about the content. So
Yeah.
yeah, and you do it, do good job of that, whether it is making me look good or my partners look good and the deal look good. So yeah, tell us a little bit more about that, because what happens behind the scene when we are sleeping over here and you guys are doing all the work on that.
I think, see, Sanjay, storytelling is something which is much more important, which actually resonate with your audience. You know, the potential, your audience means your potential investors for investing in your deal or your fund specifically. So storytelling comes along with, like, the most effective factor is connecting on an emotional level. Okay. Addressing investor concerns when you do the storytelling, basically you do definitely create a memorable brand when you talk story perspective precisely. Fascinating, specifically education and understanding is the another fourth factor which actually create an impact when you talk in a storytelling perspective, or your brand is telling the stories across in your content. And the last one I would definitely say, Sanjay, is inspiring actions, which basically, your brand, if you go across and start telling the story, that what it create altogether. So I'll show definitely a one couple of example of the stories which, like, we have created for few of our client. Those are real-time incident, how that happened, how we portrayed it in terms of content, and how we leverage on that. So, Vishaka, can you just help me out with that one story, which was real time happened with the Achieve Investment Group? So, if you look around, I'll just get that story on the screen right away, Sanjay. Our audience can understand how beautifully, we articulate that story and what was the storyline we have given to it. Vishaka, are you able to share the screen?
Ramesh, no, I'm not able to share the screen. Sanjay, could you please share the access?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I've given access to
Just a second. Let me try.
post disable.
Vishaka,
Yeah, I've given my access to Ramesh.
Vishaka, you can do it now.
Yeah, thanks.
Cool. So that's great. So I think, this is the one story. If look the headline, fire, snow, and scroll down. Yeah, fire, snow, and 2.4x returns. The story is. So if you look around, this was one of our client who is from Texas, Florida, and this property got actually fire incident. And then, like, over a period of the chapter one, which was the fire, then we put across this, this was a breaking news altogether. It was a negative impact, basically, Sanjay. Then a chapter two was fire. Just a second, Vishaka. Go on chapter two, fire restoration and apartment remodeling. That almost took a year. So see how we look back entirely to that story and we created this. Then a chapter three, scroll down, finally coming back, the turnaround time, basically. So 25 unit, COVID-19, all those kind of a thing. Then the chapter four, Texas winter storm and URI. Then again, we put across, this means that was Funes 100K, you could have 248K. And this is how, like, you start pushing this story, understand what kind of a impact it is going to create on investor. It shows we can came from a worst situation to great situation. You are a great operating company. You can come out at any given point of a time from a bad to good, and that's why the storytelling is much more important.
Nope.
Another
Yeah,
yeah,
go for it. Yeah.
another storytelling example I would love to show is this is one more client of, it's a bit different background. Scroll down, Vishaka, precisely. What happened with Renault Winery in 2018? It's specifically went out of bankruptcy, for a specific point of a time. Then a different management team came into the to the place, and then equation started changing. We started renovating, we started doing other thing, marketing thing, branding thing, tourism and event, and product diversification. Those are the important factor which has entirely changed the ball game, Sanjay. So this articulating or creating stories whenever you have any deal, what is the story behind? Try to get that story out there so that create a bigger impact. That absolutely create a bigger impact, Sanjay. So that's what
I
I mean.
completely agree.
It, yeah, it connect emotionally, it
Yeah.
inspire, it create address investor concern, and it educate investors. That's how it, in one arrow, you try to hit 3 to 4 different ball games over here, Sanjay.
Yeah.
Make sense?
No, no, perfectly, perfectly. In fact, I agree with you. Like, I think everybody likes a good story. I think that's just human nature, right? We've been listening to stories since our childhood, and I think that's, that's something that we connect with when somebody comes puts up something in a form of a story, we connect much easily on that one.
Yeah,
So that's
absolutely.
a great one. Yeah. No, I agree
So
with you. So,
I think, I would love to have a question for you, Sanjay, which would I can say, like, how important role do you think this marketing initiatives are playing in capital raising, Sanjay? How important it is? Let's say, some people, as I said, some people say, I don't think marketing is needed for raising a capital. I have friends and family, or how much crucial it could be for anyone, you think? If
well, it
there is
is.
no marketing,
It's like
consider,
it's like you are asking me, Sanjay, how important quality is when you are manufacturing a refrigerator or a television. If somebody
yeah,
says, "Hey, man, quality is not at all important," then why even get into that business, right? So it's that crucial, because marketing and branding is just like quality, right?
yeah,
You're creating a brand out there, so it's very important because people associate you with that brand. Now, of course, you might be the brand ambassador of your own brand. That is there, obviously, which means that you have to act in a certain way. You want to portray yourself in a certain way. But all of these things can be done only through marketing, by throwing it out there. How are you going to get to know multiple people? Like, this is the funniest part. Everybody thinks that just because they put something on social media, or they put their thing on Facebook, and they have a website, or they are on Instagram, they'll be noticed. The answer is no. Nobody notices because there are so many of them out there. So how do
yeah,
you stand out? You can only stand out by doing effective marketing, and that's the key. And so this again comes back to more to you, actually, Ramesh, because your team and you, this is what you guys do is, as I mentioned, you can be on social media all you want, but then you got to tailor your marketing initiatives to attract ideal investors that are specifically for you, that are specific to your needs. So how do
mhm,
you guys, so with so many types, um, how can we tailor marketing initiatives to attract the ideal investors for specific multifamily deals? Like, how do you do that? Like, what are the things that you can do or your team can do to specifically focus on these? Because not everybody is for not everyone, not every deal is for everybody.
yep, yep, very true, very true. So I think, see, as you know, like, marketing or technology is greatly evolving. Look back year back or 6 month back, how was the things? How was the technology? How was using your phone, your computer, right now, the way you use it, it's evolving great, and that's how your marketing has to change constantly. It is a constant process, Sanjay. If somebody say, hey, I have created my website, I have created my newsletter, I have set off everything. Now I don't need to change another 6 months or a year. Boom, you are going out. You are out of the market. You have to constantly generate new content
Yeah.
because there are people out there who are constantly pushing a content, who wanted to share, grab your share, your share of a market. If you sit idle, your brand is just like, getting back. So
Yes.
a constant new content creation is must in today's world, first of all. Okay. So coming back to that another point, that there are different type of investor type, and how personalization now in today's world, how personalized content you can make. So you can only make a personalized content when you understand your investor profile. Who is your ideal investor look like? Is it a doctor? Is it a CEO? Is it a owner or a contractor of civil or roofing contractor or a HVAC contractor? Okay, or is it a like pilot for a plane, or is it an athlete? Is it an athlete? See, these are all people are high earners. When you talk about athlete, when you talk about pilot, you really need to understand what is their pain point is, what they're suffering through. You understand their pain point, then you can talk about it. Either you have to identify those pain point, either you have to get a team who know that how to identify the pain point. And then once you have their pain point, then you can start creating a very personalized content to them. Now, I would really love to show a few example of, a few website we recently started a big brand specifically. These are the big brands into the specifically into the investing space, Sanjay. Vishaka, can you get those specific website right now on the screen? Vishaka? Yeah. So look this, Vanguard, it's one of the top brand into the investing space, Sanjay. Look at the right hand side. Personal investor, retirement plan, institutional investor, financial professional, boom. They have personalized it. Now, if you're a personal investor, click on it, Vishaka. It would be a personalized content for you, a very defined and dedicated content. Find the right path to your future and all that information they're putting across to that one personal thing. If you go to the institutional one, you will have institutional information out there, precisely. So that is what you need to do. You cannot keep everyone in a one bucket and say, hey, grab this. You are a doctor, you have to create a content for a doctor. You are a IT professional, create a content for IT professional, and then walk them through, understand their pain point, make the content for them, walk them through that. Then they can say, hey, this guy know, understand me, you know, so he can really resonate me. How easily you can resonate with your audience is the biggest factor, Sanjay. So
Mhm.
this factors really play a great role. So personalizing your experience moving on is the most effective factor. All big brands, top brands, Amazon, Apple, they're creating a personalized impact, personalized advertising, personalized targeting. So we have those like high-tech tool right now through that we can target each and every audience and can create a personalized content for them according to their choices, their likeness, Sanjay. So that's how it is important for us right now to personalize, moving on to personalized approach and move from there, Sanjay. So that would I will definitely say, keeping personalized, identifying your specific, like whether they are retiree, they're athlete, they're pilot kind of a thing, and then start creating educational content for them, start creating a newsletter for them, educate them, and then get them into the system. That's how we're going to be going to get better and better. See, simple example, I'm a pilot. Okay, I saw a specific content related to pilot investing. Okay, pilot investing, oh my god, I saw. So I have a colleague, hey, look, this is content for us. You got multiply effect. That guy started promoting your content ultimately. That's effective it is, Sanjay.
Yep. No, I agree 100%. There's a lot
Yeah,
of job work that goes into it. I completely understand. Yep.
cool,
Absolutely.
cool. So Sanjay, I think I would love to have one more question for you now. That what advice would you like to give syndicator who are looking to attract a capital? Not only the capital perspective, Sanjay. I want really you to give the entire initiative in terms of what you have learned over a period of the past 3 years. You think this guys really should know all of these things, and it would be really greatly helpful for them, Sanjay.
Well, I'm not a Sadguru to give anybody an advice, but I can definitely give you suggestions. Okay.
Yeah.
So the suggestions that I would give anybody is the first thing that what is more important when you're getting into a syndication business. Number one is the mindset. Remember that this is not a get rich quick scheme. This takes time. This takes trust. Trust is something that comes with time and it is something that is earned. So if you want to attract capital, I would say start your marketing and promoting yourself from day one. Don't wait until you get into a project and then say, hey, you know what, now that I have this project, I'm going to go start raising money. That's not going to happen. So that is one thing. So I would definitely suggest, your mindset is the first thing. Remember that this is for a long play. This is not a short term gain kind of a situation. Number two, marketing plays a very important role. You and always keep communicating with your marketing team. Keep giving suggestions and keep receiving suggestions. One of the main things that you really want is what the thing that I like about Ramesh's team is that they take constructive criticism really well, right? Like every week when we are on the call, you know, we we'll tell them, hey, this is what our suggestion is. This is working. This is not working. So continuously stay in touch on those things. Don't just put them on autopilot and think that things are going to work. Obviously, the marketing team is great. They look into everything, but you have to personalize it to your style as well. It should be where when somebody looks at it, um, your website or your contents should not be just like anybody else's. It should be a little bit, that should be your personality. The brand is you are the brand ambassador, so it is your personality that should show up. So because people are investing in you, and what the branding and marketing does is showcases you. So make sure that you work with your marketing team and try to create the brand or the image that portrays you as your personality. Because if you are not, then what happens is people will be looking at a brand and the content, and they'll be looking at you when you're talking to them. And if that doesn't match, then there is a problem. So you need to have that part of it, which is very important. Third, go with the right kind of CRMs, because CRM plays a big role. Making sure that you are in touch with your investors is the key. And making sure that you are communicating in a professional manner is the key, whether it is good or bad. um, there are ways to even give out the bad news. Just like how Ramesh just explained the story that about the fire, right? That's not a good news, but hey, there's a story behind it. You put the story together. You work with the marketing team to put that story together to make it a successful story and build that relationship part of it as well. So those are the things that I would definitely say if you're getting started with this. Um, you know, that would be my suggestions. And
Great.
obviously build a very good team. Build a very, very strong team, because multifamily is not one man show. It's a team sport.
Great, great. Such a great insight. I think I love what you share across, Sanjay, to our audience. That's a fantastic input, I must say, what you have provided over a period of last, whatever you have learned through your journey, and it would be greatly helpful. So I think, guys, we finished with our question answers. I mean, internal discussion, what we supposed to do it. We would really love to take a question from you guys and add on a value, resolve your concerns, whichever you have probably. So we are opening now question and answer session. Guys, you can unmute it, you can put into the chat, you can write into the chat as well. We would love to hear your voice. If you can ask question, we would love them to take on. So Bhagyashri, Jenny, Jill, Kimberly, Lee, Mike, Nathan, Pooja, Saman, Tim, Raghu, we would love to have your questions and answer them. Any one of you. You
Yeah,
can put it.
Saman, you're from Malaysia. You're staying up, so you have questions. Please do ask questions.
Yeah. So I think Sanjay, somebody
I
has
think
raised the.
Pooja Chan, Sanjay, I'm also excited and thrilled to be part of your billionaire journey. Uh, Absolutely, Pooja. I'm super excited to meet with you next week in Dallas. So let's connect and have more fun over there. I want to know more about social media. Absolutely. That's the question for Ramesh. You should be asking that to Ramesh about social media, but I'll definitely have more conversations about that as well. Social media is great, but if you do it effectively, that's what I would say. Because at the end of the day, you got to remember everybody has got a social media. Everybody is on Facebook. Everybody is on, Instagram. But how do you effectively convert them to make you more, set you apart from others is the key. Why do you think a lot of these TikTokers are making a lot of money these days? Right? Because they do something that's very, their content is very different. They have a different crowd that they attract, right? But people still watch and they make a lot of money. So, absolutely, work with your marketing team to set yourself apart. Be yourself. What should be the first thing someone sees on your website? Um, Obviously, what that uh, if Ramesh, you want to answer that question
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I can answer it,
yeah.
but I'll have a different answer for that.
I think, being working in marketing, Sanjay, you wanted to take each and every question.
I'm sorry. It's just that I just love those questions. There are some really amazing questions out there. But
Yes.
yeah, go ahead. If you want to answer that one, I'll answer that as well.
Yeah, sure. Kimberly, I think, what should be the first thing someone see on your website? I would say there are two ways how right now the audience is mobile users and desktop users. Okay. Mobile users and desktop users. Mobile users are increasingly greatly now. Okay. So the first section is called as a hero section on the website. Okay. That's the most important thing. So what is a key message you want to give out there? What a key hook line, a hook message has to be there on that particular section of your hero image. What is your brand do? Okay. Or what value you are creating? What impact you are bringing on? That is need to be showed across on the first section of the website. That content resonating those kind of images of on your website relately, like, let's say, for example, syndicating businesses, creating a passive income, giving a life, giving a time to the investors. So that's how, like, you have to resonate your first section of the website altogether. That message has to be out there precisely on that first section. So a value, a strong message, and resonating what exactly you're creating for your audience, Kimberly. That is need to be there on the first section of the image. There are many things, not only this, but this is the most important thing I think we should have on the first section of your website, which if you look the example which we showed across a few minutes back, we were defining investor type. So if they click on that, they can go to that particular section and they can see more information. So giving that navigation to that audience that, okay, I'm this, let me go click and be on that specific thing. That is what much more important, I think, precisely. Hello.
So Mike's question is really interesting. I like because Mike comes from he's got a strong marketing background himself. So how is AI changing websites and investors and investor marketing, right? So hey Mike, my answer to you is very simple, man. And I'll let Ramesh chime in on that as well later. But the way I'm seeing it is the AI is doing such a wonderful job of doing so many things, right? Like previously there was just one like, oh, I'm your AI assistant, and it will have some of these questions. But nowadays you can create certain things where it actually looks at Mike, it will look at your, which link you came from and so on. It also looks at your Facebook and so on, all your other social media, and responds to you based on understanding your actual mindset, because it tries to trigger as to like, where is this guy asking this question from, where is it coming from. So this AI has changed everything so much these days. It's crazy. Right now I'm working with a certain web developer who just started this company about 6 months ago, and it's amazing what these guys can do and how the contents can come up and emails can go out to your investors. I'm loving it, and Ramesh and I are going to be on that call next Monday to go over that as well with these developers. This is going to be amazing. So yeah, I'll let Ramesh and let him talk moving
Yeah.
forward on this one.
So this question of Mike have got a very funny incident just couple of days back. A real-time incident, Mike. I was just working out on as you know, Sanjay, I work very closely with all of my clients. I work on operations as well. So I was just trying to create some content, curating some content, and I just give a prompt to chat that I need to reply this particular email, okay, where client want to restart their work, with more bigger package. And I was just doing that. So I put across that email, okay, and guess what? I got the answer for that particular email from AI. It has sarcastically, it was written, see, I can understand Ramesh. It was like, Ramesh, I understand you and your wife is having a time of a pregnancy. So I can understand you cannot do that. So it was a very different output, which I was not expected at all from that AI. So yet I can say definitely the AI is yet to mature. Uh, to give that kind of output, Sanjay, at this point of a time. But see, Chat GPT or Gemini are producing bit good content. In syndication business, yet AI will not go very high level because investors really want to see real-time people. They want to talk real people. They cannot invest money on AI. That's 1,000% clear, Mike. So I think we can utilize some part of it in terms of content creation or chatbot or automizing or capturing the lead, Sanjay. So we have to really very cautious and identify which part is good for us, take that part and go from there. So that's what the AI look like at this point of a time for sure. We can automate many things with that, but probably yet a much more bigger time has to go, Sanjay, on the
Oh,
AI
that
thing.
that that I completely understand. Like, I don't think machines can ever take over humans, right? At the end of the day, see, I'm still a firm believer of shaking hands with people and communicating with them, getting on calls, and having this kind of conversation. It's so important, right? Because you get to see the person's tone of voice, his expressions on his face, a warm hug and a handshake. You cannot beat any of those things. So machines can never take over human thing, but it does bring in certain things which in a in a world that we are living in, where everybody wants instant gratification. That is where AI can come in and help you a little bit, but absolutely you cannot take the human factor out of it at all. I see Jean Allen raising her hand.
Yeah, yeah.
You have a question?
Yes, Sanjay. So you mentioned that your CRM is very important. So my ultimate bottom line question is, what CRM do you use? But before you tell us that, what do you think distinguishes a good CRM from a less good CRM? And what do you want your CRM to do besides just collect email addresses?
Well, CRM is not only about collecting addresses, right? CRM does a hell lot more than that. So basically, what is a good CRM? Let me put it this way. What am I using now? It's Go High Level. Is what we are using right now. So that's one. The second part of it, what does it do is Ramesh Tambe is the one who actually, and his team are the ones who actually recommended to go for this compared to Achieve Global. So not, compared to Active Campaign that we had before. The reason is because Active Campaign was more expensive compared to Go High Level, and Go High Level has much more better features than Active Campaign did, and at a much affordable price. So that was one of the main reasons, because at the end of the day, if we can save money, why not, right? And this is what I like about Ramesh Tambe's team, is that anytime they come across something that is going to help you save on costs, they will do that. They'll work towards that part of it. But other than just collecting contacts from in a CRM, it connects with all of your, like your website, it connects with your social media and all of those that comes in. But then you can also automate it as to how you want to respond to them. Then you can create different groups as well in it. And how do you want to respond to certain kind of people? Like, so for example, it doesn't make any sense if there's somebody has pulled in your lead magnet, and you're going to send him a generic kind of a newsletter or an email saying, hey, thanks for visiting my website. Now you have to create a content that says, hey, thanks for bringing, thanks for downloading that lead magnet. I hope this brings value to you and blah, blah, blah. And then it also does that, you can then automate it so that it sends the first one email as soon as they do download, then another one in the following week and the next week. That way there is a follow-up that also gives you as a syndicator the time to pick up the phone and call and build that relationship side of things as well. So that's in short that part of it. But that doesn't create all of those things. There is a little bit more to it. What is, you got to start scrubbing it a little bit more too, such as trying to understand how many of these emails really went to their inbox. How many of them actually opened their, it's called lead scoring, right? So you got to figure out how many of these guys are really opening those emails. And if they're not opening, why are they not opening it? Is it because of the content? Or did we make it difficult for them? So it gives you a lot of data and metrics that will help you to make it better. So that is what a good CRM does for you, and a good team does for you, when that a normal CRM would not have that. I don't know if that answered your question, Gene, but I'll let Ramesh explain to you even further, because he and his team do this day in, day out.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Sanjay. I think you answered quite a bit, definitely, and that must have resolved her thought of, like, what is good and what is okay, okay. So, Jenny, I think, see, the most important factor whenever you go and compare, there is an option on internet that compare these two things. If you compare Go High Level and other two, simple, the cost is the biggest factor, as Sanjay said. But apart from that, the way Go High Level is like, improving their product in terms of they have their calendar itself integrated with their CRM. There is a tagging system. There is a text automation is always there. Lead scoring is there. Okay. You can always have payment integration methodology also integrated with Go High Level. Okay. And they charge you as a pay as a go basis, like, how much you're using, against of that they're charging you. So it's not like, you use it or you don't use it. You'll be charged for that much amount of a time, particularly. So it's all about uh, go as pay as a use go basis kind of a thing, Jenny. So that's the important factor for Go High Level. Apart from that, they continuously evolving their product. First factor is you can have a number of a contact into the Go High Level. Whereas if you compare any other CRM, they are based on number of email address sizes, Jenny. So that is one of the biggest key differentiator into the good CRM and like, okay, CRM kind of a thing. That is what I would suggest, Jenny.
Thank you so very much.
Jenny, any other questions?
Yeah, there is one from Saman. I know, Saman, it's pretty late for you. Saman is from Malaysia. So, yeah, so she's like, I would like to ask, what factors should we follow to outstand the market, especially with all that competition out there?
Okay.
I think that's a marketing thing, Ramesh. I'll leave that to you. If you want me to answer, I can answer.
No. Can you come again that question, please, Sanjay?
I would like to ask, what
Mhm.
factors should we follow to outstand the market, especially with all that competition out there? Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
the first thing, Saman, what we have to do is we have to on top for creating a lot of content, quality content, not a lot of content, obviously. Uh, First, as I said to you, define your targeted investor profile. Who is your targeted investor profile? Once you define your targeted investor profile, then start creating a personalized content for them. Once you create a personalized content for them, build out a personalized funnels for them. Okay. Once you build out a personalized funnel for them, build out a personalized CRM workflows and email automations for them. So this is a complete funnel from top of the funnel to bottom of the funnel. So from content creation, okay, to nurturing them across into your entire journey. So the key factor over here is in differentiating, identifying your ideal investor profile, okay, identifying their key problems, okay, how you can resolve their key problem, okay, addressing those key problems in your content specifically, okay, building out a content related to their problems and having that solution into your call to action on your call, that kind of a thing can someone make huge difference altogether. So resonating with those investors, someone precisely. So I think these are the key factors how you can differentiate from all out there, because quality is the key case uh, which not everyone try to deliver. Basically, there is a lot of noise out there, but not everyone is bothered basically for that one investor or 10 investor, how good you can help out them, how good you can take care of them, making them feel that, okay, this guy know what pain point I'm having and he's trying to resolve that. That's the important factor, Saman. What we have to do is, I hope that answer your question, Saman. Thanks a lot, guys, for joining us today. It was fantastic session what we have together. You know, thanks a lot. We'll be
Thank you,
sending
guys.
this recording to you. And anyone who wanted to talk about the marketing or want to connect with us, can definitely scan or this QR code and schedule a call with us. We'd love to help you out, guys.
Absolutely. And if you want to invest, there's my QR code right next to me. Go ahead and, scan it and yeah, start putting your money in here.
Cool. Thanks a lot, guys.
Okay,
We are
thanks.
ending this
See you.
session.
Take care, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.